With the first pick overall, the New Jersey Devils are proud to select from the U.S. program, Jack Hughes.
Well, did someone just come in big time via trade? Well, we will get down to the bottom of all the asset reallocation and all the interesting stuff in today's episode. Well, welcome back, everybody, to Heads Up Hockey. And what a day it's been so far for the New Jersey Devils. It is the day before the NHL draft in Nashville, Tennessee. Here, live from New Jersey, is your very own Jersey Joe. And today has been a whirlwind for the New Jersey Devils in their quest to improve in the playoffs and go past the second round. And the New Jersey Devils get a big piece via trade. And we will talk more about this guy, but there was also another trade earlier. The New Jersey Devils traded restricted free agent Mackenzie Blackwood to the San Jose Sharks for the 6th round pick from the San Jose Sharks, 164th overall. And the Devils could use it via trade, or they can pick with it, whatever they choose. However, the New Jersey Devils have acquired Tyler Toffoli per Elliot Friedman. And Tyler Toffoli coming in via trade from the Calgary Flames for the 80th overall pick from the New Jersey Devils from the Damon Severson trade, and traded away Yegor Sharangovich, another RFA that would have been non-tendered by the Devils. And let's talk cap space. Let's talk all these integral things. And what can the Devils really do with these picks? Well, if you saw the Locked On Devils podcast earlier, I was on there talking about who the Devils could pick at each spot a little bit here and there. But I do have an idea of players they could get. It's just a matter if they fall there. Now, let's get to the trade. The Devils really needed to revamp their veteran playoff depth. And guys like Yegor Sharangovich didn't quite fit the picture. And, I mean, he is still growing his game. And he's going to be an integral player for a guy like the Calgary Flames, and he showed flashes of brilliance in New Jersey, and it was a matter of time that he was going to, try and find more ice time, because it just wasn't happening in New Jersey. I didn't want to trade him at the trade deadline, especially after he became a father for the first time. And usually when I talk to people about that, those personal things kind of get in the way of your craft in the NHL, especially the season's such a grind. It's a long grind. And now that the trade has settled, the Devils would have been using their own pick that they traded away, and they traded the Calgary one. So the Calgary pick was through a whole entire trade tree, and it was an interesting move because the Devils needed another right-handed shot that could score goals, another 30-goal scorer. It takes off the pressure for Timo Meier. It takes off the pressure of Bratt, and it really makes it easier for guys like Palat and Mercer not have to be the main go-to guys. So you're really hoping that this move really pans out to be what it's going to be. And I know the Devils are a very fast team, but they need someone who's not too fast, but is just Goldilocks. And Toffoli has some speed for his age, and he may not be the fastest guy, but he's not slow. and he's above average speed and certainly could benefit the Devils under Travis Green, and Travis Green being the replacement for not Alan Nasruddin. I'm thinking old, but I'm now thinking of Andrew Burnett, who now is the head coach in Nashville, who helped improve the Devils' power play, but Travis Green certainly can do that, especially the past few seasons before he was fired. And I think the Devils are in a very good situation now. They got a really good cast of players, and they can set up whoever on the bumper, and they can set up whoever at the front of the crease to create traffic. And I think the Devils are really well designed right now, and they're just really improving. And with the mentions of Miles Wood looking like he's not returning, I really believe that the Devils already have their physical presences in Timo Meier. They have guys like Curtis Lazar, Nathan Bastian, Timo Meier, who are all there, and Kevin Ball can really play physical too. And the Devils really know what they're doing. And right now, for the time being, this is a cap space of $19,500,000. So $19.07 million in cap space. So really, the Devils are in very good shape. You can extend Timo Meier easily for $8.5, $9 million. It won't set you back other than $11, $10 million. Really just looking at that in cap space. And then if you wanted to extend Tyler Toffoli 2 seasons, 3 seasons, it won't cost you more than maybe $5 million, $4.5 million. And you could do it on the short term so it doesn't hurt you long term. And guys like, I'll put it this way. You could let Toffoli go in as under 1 year in a move it or prove it type situation. But guys like Tatar and Wood are gone, in my view, because you just put pressure on both of them, and they just don't look like they could fiscally add up. And their days are done. I could be wrong with Tatar, but I just don't see him returning. I don't see Wood returning. Michael McLeod and Timo Meier, Jesper Boqvist, and Nathan Bastian all returning, I see in my books. And unless something happens, then I will bite my tongue. And Kevin Ball will certainly get extended. I just think Ryan Graves could be the next to go in a trade for his rights as a UFA, and it's possible that the Devils can do that, and they can get some draft capital and just manage from there. And right now, if we look at cap friendly, next year we're looking at a cap at $87.5 million. So we're looking around $32.85 million of cap space down the road, and see who's going to get extended, see who's going to go. I honestly think that you look at guys like Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt, Andre Palat, Tyler Toffoli, Eric Halla, Curtis Lazar, Dawson Mercer, Nathan Bastian, Timo Meier, Michael McLeod. These guys all been to the playoffs. A lot of these guys know what to do. And it's just a matter of determination for these forwards to teach the younger core to get through the tough and the grittiness of the NHL season. And they have a little bit more favorable schedule And November to me is the hardest month of the year for the road schedule. And you don't take any games for granted, but you definitely got guys like Luke Hughes. You have guys like John Marino, Dougie Hamilton, Kevin Ball, and then eventually guys like Simon Nemec who come up. And these guys will push the defense to be much better than it was last year, both physically, offensively, defensively, and it's going to save the team a whole lot of money and a whole lot of pain, but there will be a little bit of growing pains with the young guys. And definitely with the draft, I honestly look at guys like Michael Hrabal, a goaltender that the Devils should go for, 6'6", 209 pounds, very fluid, very solid goalie, still raw, born in the month of January in 2005. So he's got a lot of hockey to go ahead of him in practice time. So he's got an advantage over everyone else 11 months apart from him. So it'd be an interesting thing to see what happens on day 2 of the draft because the Devils don't have a first. And could they go for a grittier guy like a Connor Levis, maybe from the Kamloops Blazers? Who knows? You need a big grinder two-way guy that could be a bottom 6 presence, also a playoff performer down the road. If the Devils do go a defensive player around the later rounds, Spencer Sova would be a really good pickup. And if the Devils need to go left wing, they could go get an Owen Beckner from the Salmon Arm Silverbacks, a big body goal scorer, February birthday, someone who can really be a difference maker and certainly add that power forward depth to the New Jersey Devils. Another interesting name that I like that comes out of the Youngstown Phantoms from the USHL is Brandon Svoboda, a center, born in February of 2005, 6'3", 205 pounds, power forward, big, physical. And you know what? These aren't just guys that are just going to be your normal draft picks. These are going to be the guys that you develop. They play college route. They go through the rankings. And eventually, some of these guys will end up playing for you in the playoffs and play that meaningful hockey down the road. Arbor Jackie's brother, Florian Jackie, plays for the Hamilton Bulldogs in the OHL. Big physical power forward. And you guys say, Joe, why are you going for these power forwards that are big and physical? Well, playoffs. When you get there, you can't be soft. You have to be tough. You got to be gritty. Yes, you're already going to have some finishers, guys like a Tyler Toffoli there. You're going to have guys like a Jesper Bratt and a Timo Meier. But you need to improve that overall depth. And it's going to show when you get the right guys going forward. After moving the 80th overall pick, it's going to be hard to come by those Andre Molnars, Luca Pinelli type guys who are very elusive, playmaking, goal scorers. I really do think that an Ethan Niedema type guy from the Kingston Frontenacs would certainly be an interesting value pick in the 2nd through 4th rounds. And another name I think the Devils could get, but in a goaltender, is Damian Clara, the Italian goaltender from the J20 Nacional. Has shown that he's a top 6 European goalie, and he is a bit of a trailblazer because you really don't get Italian players playing hockey. It's more so football, aka soccer for you Europeans. And he's born in the month of January, where he has so many months to develop himself with Färjestad BKJ20. And once he gets through into eventually the SHL in Sweden, he can improve his game against guys who could easily be pros in the NHL and eventually move on over to the NHL. Another guy that I like for wingers, I think Jesse Kiskinen, if the Devils go the route of a winger, would be Kiskinen on the right wing side. In the middle of the second day of the draft, Matteo Mann would be another guy. I talked about him before. Certainly going to be high on him and some other right-handed defensemen. I mentioned before with Trey Matthews that Aram Manetian would be a really good player. But certainly keep your eye on Christian Kosadinsky for left-handed defenseman to be more of a two-way, very defensive guy, big body, doesn't mess around. And I think the Devils know what they're doing, and they have Mark Dennehy and they have guys like Paul Castron who know what it is to look for pros players, but also look for guys who are amateur players that have potential and upside that can really boost the Devils near and long term. And if the Devils have a surplus, they could always move a few surpluses for needs, like I mentioned before on Pucks and Pitchforks. And the Devils are going to look for the best available. And right now, it's been a crazy day before the first day of the draft. It would be wild if the Devils landed another key name player, but I think it's most important to just extend Timo Meier. But that's just me. But I really think here at Heads Up Hockey, where I've been doing this since 2017, before it was officially the Jersey Joe Corner, and it became Heads Up Hockey years later. And I am very glad to see you people from all over the globe tune in and listen in. And I just am so excited for the 23-24 season. And my Spotify followers, I have at 66. Other audience people, 14. And then I've seen things average out a little higher on YouTube. So certainly I do keep eye on the stats, but I'm also grateful for those who are listening in from whether you're in the United States, Canada, Ireland, Germany, the UK. Oh, and Poland is growing. Dziękuję bardzo. And Ireland is one of my big markets outside of North America. Poland, definitely. Ja ciebie kocham też. Taiwan is growing. Sweden is growing. Brazil, eu gosto você muito bom para a podcast. Yeah, I said I love you for the podcast, Brazil. And Australia, a lot of people tuning in. And I love seeing the love from Switzerland. To those of you in Switzerland, Dankeschön für alles. Merci beaucoup. Tout le monde. Grazie mille. I wanted to do it trilingually for my my Swiss listeners. Romania, Ukraine, Slava Bogu, Horiom Slava, to those listeners. And to those from Italy, this is really cool to see people from Veneto listening in. And this is just really cool to see like how this podcast has grown. And India, yes, India, that's right. There are people from Karnataka, Rajasthan, National Capital Territory of Delhi. So these are all markets that are tuning in to Heads Up Hockey. Wow. And you know what? For those of you who are listening from abroad, please tell me how you first heard of this show and how you got into hockey in the first place. And tell me who you're a fan of, which teams, both in the NHL and other leagues. So that way I could collaborate more with you and understand where you're coming from. And yes, I do see Norway listens in, Spain and Honduras. And yeah, there isn't enough data on Spain yet, but certainly will. And Honduras is an interesting one because I visited Costa Rica, but I do know expats live next door there. The Netherlands, North Holland listens in. I've been to North Holland, and I've also been to South Holland. I've been to the southern Netherlands. I've been to the east. Definitely South Africa, thank you for listening in. Russia, to those of you in Russia for listening, thank you for listening in. Arseny Gritsuk is one of my favorite players. Daniil Orlov as well, and a couple of other players in this draft. Stanislav Berezhnoy is one of my personal favorites. I just think Matvei Michkov might be headed over to NHL sooner than we think, given what's happening. Finland, I honestly am a big fan of Sami Vatanen, former Devil, who was flipped in the Henrique trade. I did like Yanni Kuokkanen. He helped Sharon Govich, but when he was bought out, didn't help out a lot. Turkey, the Philippines, Indonesia. Oh, and Mexico. Gracias mucho. Muchas gracias. Para todo. Sí, me gusta. Me gusta Mexico. Yeah, I do speak Spanish, by the way, so don't mind my multilingualism. Austria. Ich liebe Österreich. Dieses das Land aus Marco Rossi. Yeah, it's the country of Marco Rossi and the Minnesota Wild. Thailand, thank you for listening in. I know Jonas Siegenthaler is Swiss and Thai, so I guess his family's listening in. I don't know that for a fact, but it would be pretty cool. Some New Zealanders or Kiwis are listening in. A lot of good Slovaks are listening in. Yeah, with Slovakia, I love Simon Nemec. Juraj Pekarczyk, I think, might fall to the Devils, given the fact that some people might overlook him, but the Devils having ties to Slovakia certainly will help Belgium. I've been there. I also have roots there, just like with Poland. Visited there in Belgium. Absolutely love being all over. And I know I have listeners in Brussels, but I've been to pretty much each region, minus the German-speaking area. Let me see, France, Aruba, Hong Kong, Singapore, France. Been to France. Japan, I want to visit. Denmark, want to visit. Hungary, I've been to. People in Hungary are pretty cool. Definitely love the food. I know it's not exactly hockey related, but could certainly be good food inside the hockey rink. If there ever was a chance. People from Iran listen in. Albania, the Republic of Lithuania. yes, I have roots there too in Lithuania. And then I got Czechia, or some people call it Czech Republic still. Albania listens in. So, yeah, this is pretty cool. Kaunas, my great grandmother on my father's side is from there. So, and I guess Dinah Zubras' family probably listens in. So, I really like the fact that, given the fact I've had this podcast for so long, telling people about how the cap works, how draft day is like, and doing my writing for Pucks and Pitchforks technically is called contributing, but it's an awesome thing. And I do a lot of crossovers with a lot of Devils personalities. And also, I think with the Metropolitan, there's going to be a bit of a shift with the way the media looks at the Devils, and they're like, now we have to take them more seriously. And I think the Devils will possibly win 100 plus points, but who knows? If anything breaks, I will be here and also enjoy the next couple days. And thank you for enjoying to Heads Up Hockey here on Anchor.fm, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can find the show on Google. You'll see it. Thank you. Have a great day.